Okay, let's continue our discussion on the structure questions, skills 9 to 10. Skill 9 is adjective clause connector. In skill 9, we will discuss adjective clause connectors. First, what is an adjective clause? Adjective clause is a clause that describes a noun. Just like adjective has a function to describe a noun. Then adjective clause is also a clause that describes a noun. The positions of an adjective clause is directly after the noun that it describes. If we have adjective in the form of words, the location of it in a sentence is before the noun it modifies. But if it is in the form of a clause, then the position is directly after the noun that it describes or modifies. Let's take a look at the example here. The woman is filling the glass that she put on the table. So we have the noun glass here, and then we want to describe the glass. So we have a clause here that she put on the table. So the clause here that she put on the table describes the noun glass. And because this is a clause, then there is the connector here and the subject as well as the verb. Again, the second example is the glass that she put on the table contains milk. So because it modifies or it describes the glass, then when the glass is the subject, then it also moved in the front of the sentence after the word glass. The glass that she put on the table contains milk. That is skill number 9. And let's take a look at the example of the question in the TOEFL test. The gift blah 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 selected for the bride was rather expensive. Here we have the verb was. Okay, so before the verb, this one is the subject. So the subject is in the form of noun phrase here, and then the is in it. Yeah, and then here we have gift, and we have verb here. Now, if we see another verb here, then it needs subject and connector, right? So we need to find subject and connector. So we have which we selected. Okay, because this one is a verb and this one is also a verb. So the sentence has two verbs. It means that the sentence needs one connector and one more subject. Okay, right. That is for skill 9. Here is the chart for skill 9, which is adjective clause connectors. And these are the connectors. We have whom for people, we have which, and we have that. Okay, we have whom, which, and that. And the position is after the noun it describes or it modifies. Okay, all right, that's for skill number 9. Then let's continue to skill number 10, adjective clause connector / subject. The same as what we have previously for noun clause. Here we can also have adjective clause connectors which also functions as the subject. Yeah. We know in skill 9, we know that in skill 9 that adjective clause connectors were used to introduce clauses that describes noun. Now, in this skill, we will learn that in some cases, the adjective clause connectors is not just the connectors, but also the subject of the clause at the same time. Let's take a look at the example here, guys. The woman is filling the glass that is on the table. If you see here, we have the woman as the subject of the verb, the subject of the sentence, and then is filling is the subject, the verb of the sentence. Let's take a look at this. Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, so let's take a look at the example, guys. Here, the first example, the woman is filling the glass that is on the table. The woman is the subject, the verb is filling, and then the glass is the object. Then we have another clause, yeah, adjective clause, describing the word glass, the noun glass. And then we have connector, and then we directly have the verb without the subject. So how can this happen? What is on the table? What is on the table is the glass. So the noun that it describes, the noun that the clause is described, is the same as the subject of the clause. Therefore, here the connector, if it is like that, the connector can also function as the subject at the same time. So you don't need another subject. Let's take a look at the second example. The glass blah 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 that is on the table contains milk. The same, yeah. The glass is the noun that that is described by the noun clause and the adjective clause here that is on the table, and what is on the table is the glass, right? So if it is the same, the subject is the same as the word and the noun that it describes, then the connector functions also as the subject, so you don't need another subject in the sentence. Okay, let's take a look at the example of the question in a TOEFL test. Here we have two verbs. We have the verb is and we have the verb has, which means that this sentence has two clauses. So we have to have one connector and two subjects, or probably one subject if the connector also functions as the subject. Okay, so what's missing here is a connector and a subject, right? Because this one is the subject of this sentence, but this verb needs a subject. Okay, so which one has a subject and connector? Here we have the notebook. Incorrect, yeah. Here we have the notebook, which is on the table, has 4 sections. We have subject and we have connector. So this one is the answer. All right. All right, let's take a look at the chart for adjective clause connectors slash subjects. Just like what we have in the noun clause connectors slash subjects, we only have few connectors that can do both function as the connector and as the subject. For adjective clause connectors, we have 3 connectors. They are who, which, that. Who, which, that can function as both the connector and also the subject of the clause. All right, guys, that's all for today. That's all for structure question skills 9 and 10. Hopefully this. Okay, guys, that's all for question section All right, that's all for structure question skills 9 to 10. Hopefully it will help you understand the skills. I'll see you when I see you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye.